Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Main Event Interviews. My name is Main Event, and today we're visiting with Shadows Pub. Welcome to the show, Shadows Pub.
Thank you.
And tell us where in the world you are this evening.
I am in Eastern Ontario, roughly midway between Toronto and Kingston.
And that is in Canada, correct?
It is.
All right, so you're, I believe, the second person I've had on the show from Canada, so that's really cool. We visit with people all over the world on this show that are all people that joined Steemit, and I find it quite fascinating to hear their stories. So first thing I would want to ask you is, what brought you to Steemit? What made you join the Steemit platform?
I kind of stumbled across it, actually, because I was on a site where I would download TV programs. Somebody mentioned something about the way it's going to be is this place called Steemit. And I went, what the hell is Steemit? So I went and looked at it, and I started exploring the site and kind of realized that it was more of a writing site. And the timing was actually really good because I had finally made a decision in my life that I was going to pursue writing. So couldn't have come at a better time.
So prior to Steemit, had you done much writing, or is this your first experience writing online?
I had done some writing. I've done some blogs over the years. I'd never really gone after it on a regular basis.
That's cool. Yeah, I personally have never blogged prior to Steemit, and I find it quite fascinating how you can put your content out there and people seem to just appreciate it more. Have you noticed that with the platform?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, you put something out there and you think that it's more writing for yourself, and then you discover that people actually like it.
How long have you been on Steemit?
Since August of 2016.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you've officially been on the platform over a year then.
I have.
So obviously you must enjoy Steemit then. Were you on the whole time, or did you take a break in between or anything?
The only break I had was kind of a forced one. I was very ill in June, and I was off for pretty close to 2 months.
Well, sorry to hear that. Hopefully things are better now. Yeah, I've been on since May, so you must enjoy the platform a lot. What are some things you really love about the platform that's kept you on here for over a year?
The variety. I know if you look in some of my posts, you see me complaining about the amount of chaff that I go through in order to find the good posts. But there is a lot of variety here. There's a lot of people doing really neat things. For example, the Minnow Support Program.
So you're a member of Minnow Support?
I am. I'm actually in several Discord servers.
I think we all are at this point. There's so many of them out there, but they're all wonderful. They're all such a great asset to Steemit. So I'm looking at your profile here, and it says you are a manual curator. So is that mostly what you do on Steemit? Is a lot of curation?
I do. That you'll see several posts there that are called the Steemit Ramble.
Okay, go ahead and tell us about what the Steemit Ramble is. That's something you've made?
It is. Initially, of course, you know, you're doing a lot of reading and upvoting and commenting. And after a while, I looked at it and I thought, you know, you're really killing a whole bunch of time here and you need to justify it or quit doing it and get down to doing some writing. So then I looked at it a little bit and I thought, well, why don't I just share some of the best of what I'm reading and put it into a journal form? And that's the Steemit Ramble.
Well, I think that's really great. I personally am a member of two different curation trail teams. Well, not really trails. I shouldn't call them trails, but curation groups. And that's what we do every single day is we go out on Steemit and look for content and try to share the undervalued posts. Is that pretty much what you're trying to do, or are you just sharing everything that you enjoy?
It's a mixture. Sometimes there'll be ones that are actually doing rather well, but I think it's a really good post, or it's promoting a project that's going on Steemit that I want to give some support to. But most of the time there'll be ones that are not really got very much notice.
And I think that's a great thing to do for the young minnows out there, the people who are just joining the platform. I know I've noticed a lot of them seem to be getting frustrated that they're maybe only making 50 cents on their post or something like that, and it can change their whole world when someone like you comes along and curates their post and actually shares it with somebody in a separate post or even a re-steam. That can really change somebody's whole experience, don't you think?
It can. I kind of hope that the people that look at my posts of the ramble, then go over and post, take a look at the other posts and give them up votes.
Part of what makes Steemit different, I feel like, than the other social medias is it's about networking, it's about socializing with different people, sharing with others. It's not really about yourself necessarily, it's more about everyone else.
Yeah, you're right on that, because a lot of the social media, it's almost a look at me, look at me.
Yep, and I mean, of course, there's still people like that on Steemit too. I mean, you're never going to truly get away from those types of people, but a good promoter, that certainly can get them far. But I do agree. I've noticed in time since I first joined the platform, because I came over sort of with that Facebook mentality or that other social media mentality of, I got to promote my posts, I got to get myself out there, I need to go share this with other people, because that's what those ones were all about, right? So Steemit is different, though. Wouldn't you agree?
It is different. The first little while can be really confusing. It can be absolutely frustrating. That's just an indication that you need to go and explore more. You need to, find those posts and read them through and try stuff out. And most importantly, you need to get into chat.
Now, when you say chat, do you mean Discord or do you mean Steemit.chat?
I would say Discord now. At the time I came in, Discord, didn't exist as far as Steam servers go. So your options pretty much were Steemit chat. Although I did go do some hunting around and discovered what is now TeamSpeak on Discord was actually on another server that was being paid for by Versticken. I think I pronounced that right. And that was interesting. I learned a lot there. And when he come over to Discord, that's when I come over here.
Yep, the TeamSpeak. I've joined that recently too. I haven't had a chance to jump in and have a full-on conversation with those guys, but it definitely seems like a cool channel to be a part of. What other channels are you in now on Discord that you'd like to mention, maybe?
Well, I should probably mention the fact that I actually started a server last week.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
It's called the Steemit Ramble. You'll see it referenced in the Ramble. And the primary purpose is that I'm inviting people to nominate other people's posts.
So I like what you're doing here, where it's encouraging people to share others' content. So do you want to talk more about that, like what your goals are for that?
Well, I've set it up in a way that if you come in and you share somebody else's post, then you get access to another channel where you could put in your own posts. So there's the give and take to it, but you don't automatically get to promote your own posts. You're going to have to share somebody else at minimum once, preferably more often. I've had some good nominees in there, and I've used some of them. The way I do it is in the post or nominated post chat. Is once I've gone to review the post, you'll see the clapping hands under graphic underneath it, and if I utilize it, you'll see a thumbs up.
So you're up in Ontario, Canada. Do you have many personal friends or family on Steemit, or is it mostly all people you've never met?
Mostly people I haven't met. My sister was on for a little bit. I've been encouraging her to try to get her back. She's actually a very talented writer, and she's got a lot of abilities. So I just want her to start sharing them as well.
So besides the curation and everything that you're doing, what are some things that you like to personally write about on Steemit?
I actually have a second account. I was initially trying to keep that one kind of as if it was a separate person, but I kind of decided that's not such a good idea. It's called Path to Success, and I'm doing a series on there called Coffee Meditation Time, and it's a quote that I do a bit of a meditation on, and where I can find information about the author, I do a bit of a biography about the author.
So we talked about the things that, we like about Steemit. What are some things that you kind of wish could be changed about the platform?
I think one of the biggest things that bugs me is the re-steams not being separate from the person's post. That's a real irritant for me.
I totally agree. Go ahead and elaborate on that if you'd like.
I think re-steams are a great thing because they move them, a post into somebody else's timeline in the sense that their followers are going to get exposed to it. But the problem becomes that you get somebody that is doing a whole lot of re-steaming, and you go to their profile and you want to look at some of the stuff they've done, and you've got a hard time finding their work. It's like they're burying their own work without even realizing it.
I totally agree, and personally, that's why I haven't done a whole lot of re-steaming. I've done some, but certainly I don't go on and re-steam 10 things a day by any means. And I feel bad because I want to share more people's content. But then, like you were saying, if someone comes to visit my blog and maybe, I've worked hard on a post or something, they would probably not ever see it because it would just get buried, like you said, with all these other re-steams. And, I mean, I'm all about helping others, of course, but there needs to be a little bit of separation there. I totally agree.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see that come about fairly soon because I think I like the idea of the re-steaming. I think it was a great idea, but we need to execute it in a better way.
Either that or add something to it, because as of right now, you don't earn curation rewards on a re-steam, do you?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, yeah, I mean, that would be the only thing I could think of that maybe they could add to, if you're going to re-steam, almost have it like chew into your voting power or something, or I don't know. And then that way you could earn curation on it. But they should definitely have just a separate tab on your profile. You could have your content, original content, and then authors' shared posts or something.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. That'd be the way to go at it.
What are some other things you're hoping that they'll change on the platform?
I think one of the biggest things is that it's hard to see the categories, the tags. On a blog, I'd call it a category, but on here, they're called a tag. See them in a way that people can find them easily. You've got to really do some searching on some of them.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, they let you put 5 on there, but a lot of times they're just, I don't know, like people aren't going to necessarily go look through all those different ones to find you. So yeah, I agree. Because even when you go to the homepage, I mean, you've got the thing along the side with all the categories, but I don't know, like they could do a better job with all of that. I agree.
It was in some sort of a hierarchy would kind of help, like if you've got crafts and tech and writing and then broken down into niches. Even that would help because then people, they're not just scrolling through this long list of tags that are there.
And of course, I mean, all of this is just our opinion, and Steemit is still in a beta and all these things. So, I mean, I'm sure eventually they will improve a lot of that stuff. But I think it's good to get some of that information out there in the public sphere in case, you never know, some Steam developer could listen to this show and hear our opinions and maybe implement some of those changes someday. Who knows?
We can but hope.
So you've been on Steemit a year. Are there any Steemit users that you'd like to give a shout out to that are maybe people that have helped you along the way, or people that are still helping you, or people you interact with on the platform?
Oh, God. There's a lot of them. It's a social thing, so you kind of get to know people here and there, sort of thing. Sometimes you don't see some of them for a long time, and they kind of come back to it. I would say Kevin Wong is one that was probably early on helping. Papa Pepper, of course, and then of course when you jump into a place like SteamSpeak, there's a bunch of people in there.
Awesome. Yeah, I always like to give everybody a chance to, mention some Steemit users that, they appreciate, that people help them, or, things like that when they first got started. So, yeah, feel free to shout out anybody you'd like.
Yeah, it kind of took me a while before I actually started connecting with people. To a large degree, I tend to be a bit of an introvert, so it took me a while to kind of go, hey, you're so-and-so.
Well, I didn't even join Discord until I joined a curation group, and then the group was originally going to use Steemit.chat, and it just happened that particular weekend it went down, and it was down like all weekend and for like 2 or 3 days, and we all just decided to go jump on Discord, and so ever since I joined that, it's been like this door opening, and I've joined, of course, Minnow Support Project and all these other groups and started talking to people, and that was like the aha moment for me.
It's been like a deluge of servers opening up over on Discord, and it's really amazing how many there are.
I do feel like, though, eventually we need to reel that in. I would like to see everybody kind of navigate back to Steemit chat, maybe, or some sort of program or part of the Steemit website that could bring everybody back. You know what I mean? Like, it's great that we're all connecting and we're socializing and everything, but we're using a platform that doesn't even support or affiliate with Steemit. So I do feel like if we want to support the platform, eventually we should all try to make a conscious effort to maybe come back to, Steemit chat. What do you think about that?
I think if somebody could come up with a blockchain version of similar to Discord, where communities could be created like they have here, with channels both for voice and text, I think people would move back there.
And who knows, maybe someday that will happen. So that's just one thing to look out for. Well, besides the curation that you're doing and your regular writing, what other types of projects do you maybe have in the works for Steemit, or any other things you maybe are planning on working on?
Mostly writing, and of course, if you're going to write, you've got to read. So obviously I have to do some more reading. The noise you're hearing in the background is a talkative cat.
I see one of your posts says, I promise I'm not a crazy cat lady.
Exactly.
How many cats do you have?
I have 2.
That's cool.
I had 3 at one time, but that was because one of them was a geriatric cat.
Oh, I see.
And this little character that's talking in the background, or finally shutting up, wanted up into my arms, so that's why the mouthing off.
Oh, I see. Well, you got to give the kitty some loves. So.
Oh, yeah.
Were there any other, any other Steemit users or groups or just general topics that you'd like to talk about?
No, because most of the rest of my life is volunteering in the community.
Well, that's wonderful. That's a good thing. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that you've been on Steemit over a year. You're going to be the person I've interviewed who has been on Steemit the longest so far. So I'm sure it's changed a lot since you first joined. Do you think it's heading in the right direction?
Yeah, I do. I remember hearing Ned talking about the vision developing, and I think we're finally starting to see some of that. You've got DTube that has opened up, and which basically is the blockchain YouTube. I've seen something recently, and I haven't looked into it very much, about D-Sound. And I'm assuming that's probably a music type site. And then, of course, Zapple coming along. So that ecosystem is developing, and it's going to be interesting to see how far it goes, what else develops.
Yeah, I know. I'm certainly excited and happy to be part of the platform. It's a wonderful thing, Steemit. I'm really grateful to have found it and to be connecting with people just like you from all over the world. Have you been connecting with people all over the world also?
Yeah, pretty much. When you get into these chats, you don't always know where people are. But I know that I've definitely chatted with people that are over in Europe and some South African people. And I believe Malaysia.
Yeah, very cool. I know this show's had people, I believe, from 5 countries at least so far. So, and I never would have talked to any of these people or even probably people in those countries if it had not been for Steemit. So, definitely grateful for that. It's a very fascinating experience as far as connecting with people.
It's a learning experience, that's for sure. Because not everybody has the same approach to things.
Definitely not. Well, Shadows Pub, you've been on Steemit a little over a year. Why don't we wind this out with any words that you have out there for maybe either some new Steemit users or even some people that have been on the platform for a few months, but, and they might be doing okay, they might be struggling, they might be thriving. But what types of advice would you give them for their Steemit careers?
I think the main thing is you explore, you ask questions, you read, and don't expect fast returns. You give the value, don't expect it in return, and it'll come.
Well said. Well, yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think people should just take Steemit as a opportunity to share with others and not necessarily worry so much about making money. And just, share your content, share other people's content, consume that content, and give feedback and, just network and make some new friends.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity. I know I didn't know anything about cryptocurrency when I started into it, but I'm sure learned a lot in the last year.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing most of us can say is that we're learning a lot. We're learning a lot. We're making new friendships. And, oh, I forgot. I have to ask this because I ask almost everybody this. Do you get less sleep because of Steemit now?
Not really. I'm at an age where I can only look at a computer screen for so long and then my eyes get blurry. And that's usually a hint to go to bed.
Absolutely. I'm in the same boat as you. I'm just curious because some people, mostly the new users, they've been on and they're like, oh man, I'm on like all night long and everything. And so it's just funny to ask people.
They got to be way younger than us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's been Shadows Pub visiting with us from Ontario, Canada, here on the show. I want to thank you so much for being on the show, and you can find them right on Steemit, same name, just Shadows Pub, SHADOWSPUB. And thank you so much for being on the show today.
And thank you for having me.